Hello, everybody. My name's Tim Oldham. I'm the CEO and Managing Director of AdAlta Limited, and it's my pleasure to introduce our company to you today. When antibody therapeutics first entered the pharmaceutical armory, they transformed outcomes for many patients because we could deliver unparalleled selectivity and specificity that was not possible with small molecules. Unfortunately, antibodies cannot do everything, and so the search has been on to find smaller format antibody-like molecules that can address the challenges that monoclonal antibodies have not been able to. And this is where AdAlta plays. AdAlta's purpose is to go where antibodies cannot to address debilitating and challenging diseases. Our aim is to produce a high-value pipeline of next-generation protein and cell therapies for diseases where those traditional antibody approaches have been ineffective. Underpinning everything we do is our iBody discovery business. Our iBodies are our core technology that enable us to create these high-value product candidates. iBodies are very small format antibody-like molecules that mimic the structure and shape of molecules found in the shark immune system. These iBodies can be partnered or marketed or sold on their own right, or alternatively, they can be progressed into product development. And our product development business is designed to take those product candidates and develop them through the various stages of risk reduction through preclinical and clinical development to produce product candidates that pharmaceutical companies would like to in-license from us or co-develop with us. And we have a portfolio of products in the areas of fibrosis and inflammation and in the field of immuno-oncology. Now, to introduce that portfolio in some more detail, we create shareholder value, we create revenue by creating products that larger pharmaceutical companies wish to acquire from us. Today, our lead program is in the field of fibrosis. This is a degenerative and progressive and often fatal condition involving scarring of internal organs that destroys their normal function. Our lead indication is in the field of lung fibrosis, a disease called idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, which today has a market in excess of $4.3 billion a year, with two drugs that don't work particularly well. The search is on for new molecules. We have this product, 8214, now through phase 1 clinical trials, and we're actively partnering this asset at this point in time. Comparative licensing transactions have commanded in the last 3 to 4 years upfront payments in excess of $45 million and total milestones in excess of $320 million, and in some cases up to $1 billion. $45 million, of course, is several multiples of our current market capitalization. The second field, which I'm really excited about personally, because I think it's a really killer application, if you'll pardon the pun, for our technology, is the field of CAR T-cell therapy. This is revolutionary new technology where we're re-engineering a patient's own immune cells to find cancer. And our iBody technology is critical to being able to deliver these novel cell therapies directly to solid tumors. We need multifunctional CAR T cells that are able to address multiple different tumor targets in order to deliver the same hope that CAR T cell therapy has delivered for blood cancer patients to patients with solid tumors. Comparative licensing transactions for these products at preclinical development, so not even in the clinic, have generated milestones in excess of $10 million up front and total milestones in excess of $300 million. So this field of endeavor is not only an area where the iBody technology is uniquely positioned, it's also something where we can potentially generate returns on our investments in R&D much faster and much earlier at a much lower cost than we can with a traditional therapeutic like 8214. The third area of endeavor we're working on at the moment is a collaboration with GE Healthcare, the world's largest imaging company, to develop novel PET imaging agents to help identify those patients who are responding to the new immuno-oncology drugs or checkpoint inhibitors as early as possible. We want to know if a patient is responding to therapy before their tumor has progressed. And that's the opportunity that we're trying to address with GE Healthcare. The opportunity here with a molecule that's already partnered is to generate royalty revenue in the relatively near future, and by that I mean several years away rather than 8 to 10 years away. And peak sales from products in this space generate around $400 million a year, on which we will earn a single-digit royalty. So there are 3 examples of concrete products that our iBody technology is able to do. But our iBody platform can also be monetized, if you like, as we collaborate with other pharmaceutical companies to co-discover or to even have fully funded discovery programs. So this platform enables us to generate revenue and generate multiple products over and over again. AdAlta is not a single product company. Our passion and our objective is to create a long-term, ever-evolving pipeline of products. I'd like to spend a little bit of time today talking about our lead asset, AD214, because we've got some really exciting new news that's helped us advance and de-risk this asset significantly. So we've already built a really strong value proposition to this asset. It's a first-in-class molecule, which means it's the first molecule trying to address fibrosis through this particular mode of action. And that's an important competitive advantage for pharmaceutical companies. We've demonstrated preclinical efficacy in multiple animal models of fibrotic diseases, including lung, kidney, and eye fibrosis. We've established our clinical manufacturing processes, and we've successfully completed a phase 1 clinical trial. We have intellectual property protection through 2036 for this molecule, and we already have orphan drug designation granted for pulmonary fibrosis in the US, which confers some significant advantages on our partners once the product comes to market. The next steps are to accelerate our partnering discussions. We're actively engaged with a number of larger pharmaceutical companies around the world to help us progress and finance the phase 2 program for this trial. And meanwhile, we're doing the hard yards to actually prepare this molecule for phase 2 clinical trials. The key next step there is a phase 1 extension study that will help us further extend the safety profile of the molecule and shorten the duration and cost of the phase 2 program. The first patients in that study are expected to be treated, or the first healthy volunteers are expected to be treated in around August 2023. Now that brings me on to the most recent news for our company, and this is really, really important. So up until just recently, we'd been able to demonstrate that AD214 was effective in animal models of fibrosis. We'd also been able to demonstrate in humans that we're able to block the CXCR4 receptor for extended periods of time after a single IV injection. The chart in the middle shows, for example, 100% blocking of the receptor for 1 week. But a common question from our partners has always been, well, how do you link that receptor occupancy with efficacy? How long are you going to need between doses? Can you really rely on this long receptor occupancy to support long windows between doses of 2 to 3 weeks? Well, the answer is we now have some really new in vitro studies to provide direct support for that proposition. We now know that we only need 60 to 85% blocking of the receptor in order to maximally inhibit a key mode of action of the drug. In other words, if you look at the chart in the middle, you can see that we're inhibiting the key mode of action for 2 to 3 weeks after a single IV injection of AD214. These levels of receptor occupancy can be readily achieved with low levels of circulating AD214. And what this means is that we now have, for the first time, direct support for the potential to dose AD214 intravenously no more than once every 2 weeks and still be efficacious. And this is a really important de-risking for the phase 2 clinical trial and for our partnering activity. So that brings us on to our upcoming milestones. AD214 is progressing through phase 1 extension study and into partnering conversations. We also have transaction opportunities around our iCAR-T programs. We're progressing our PET imaging program with GE, and we're continuing to invest in our iBody platform in order to ensure that we have continued competitive advantage to address these challenges where traditional monoclonal antibodies can't. And finally, we are closing out a capital raise right now. The shortfall on our recent rights offer has been covered. However, Peak Asset Management are still fielding inquiries from anyone who may be interested in participating in that shortfall. Thank you very much for your attention. We're really looking forward to the next 3 to 6 months with lots of news flow for AdAlta.